Welcome back to the story of liberty. This is John Bona. America, keep the faith. Hang in there. Don't give up yet, because the only way we will really lose is by default. So keep the faith, America. Don't lose heart. You know, if you love liberty, like most Americans do, continue to fight to preserve it. Let's remember that true liberty starts at your house, not the White House. The problem is the spirit of limited government that America once had, and the lying spirit of unlimited government that we're moving to. They cannot exist together in the same nation. One will overcome the other. Someone once asked, why fear big government? After all, when the bigger and more powerful it gets, the more rights it can bestow upon us. Wrong. Because what the government gives, the government can and will take away. It's happened over and over throughout history. Former President John Kennedy said it well. He said that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. It's simply not healthy for Americans to have the government at all levels extending its tentacles around the people, grasping more and more Americans. See, there is a vast difference between you giving your money and the government taking your money. The government is not benevolent, and Russ Walton put it right. He said government is not a producer, it's a taker and a spender. Every dollar spent by the government is the dollar taken from the private sector, from the workers and investors. Every dollar taken by the government cannot be spent or invested by that productive private sector business. So we have out-of-control leaders in our nation, leaders of factions, creating division over parts of society where they have gained influence. And they're forcing their agenda on the people without our consent. The healthcare law is a perfect example. Not one single Republican voted for it. The members of this irreligious party, by virtue of this relation, become the mere tools and dupes of their artful leaders who have their own ends to serve. You know, the moment a man is attached to the irreligious, his mind is no longer free. He receives a bias from the opinions of this relation. A question indifferent to him is no longer indifferent, even if it affects a brother or friend in society. He's not left to act for himself. He's bound to genuflect, rather than ridicule or censor his associates. He's converted to a mere crony, a talking bubble of the irreligious party leaders. Millions of Americans, they made a decision this past election. They looked evil in the eye and adopted it. Americans and Christians observed the Democratic Party platform, their convention. They publicly denied God at their convention.
My amendment in writing, and I believe it is being projected on the screen for the delegates to see. I move adoption of the amendment as submitted and shown to the delegates.
A motion has been made. Is there a second? Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, the matter requires a two-thirds vote in the affirmative. All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the, let me do that again. All of those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. I guess.
And then you've got to let them do what they're going to do.
I'll do that one more time. All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 have voted in the affirmative. The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
They endorsed abortion, same-sex marriage, and immorality. The very soul of America was cast down at their convention. Race and ethnicity overrode morals. More unborn children will die. Traditional marriage will be attacked, and sin will be exalted. Islam will be promoted, and Israel will not have America as a strong friend. Our military will become weaker, and the world will become a more dangerous place. These things will happen because America turned against God, and the consequences for mocking God, America will pay a terrible price. It's okay to grieve, but it's also time to keep the course. Don't lose heart. Keep the faith. Because in America, the land of the free, the feelings of Americans were always the feelings of a free people who desire to conserve their liberty. But remember, it's impossible to be an intelligent conservative unless one knows what we're trying to conserve. In another word, we need to conserve our liberties, political, economic, and religious. Tyrants, they struggle to keep men in bondage, but often they've proved in reality to be failures. Leaders have had their way, yet their plans have failed in the end. On the other hand, we see what has come from a disaster. Just look how the poor pilgrim people who founded this great nation were driven from their homes, and out of that bitterness has come the greatest, freest nation the world has ever known. But there is another point you will notice, that while the oppressors have carried out their plans, they've had things their own way, there were other forces at work which in time undermined their plans. A divine hand directing a counterplan. And without understanding this feature, one cannot understand the meaning of history. There must be a meaning to history. Some people think the tremendous events of history are only a series of coincidences. Men act freely in making their plans, but behind the turmoil and the problems and conflict of human endeavor, there is an unseen power standing in the shadows, watching and shaping destiny. Yes, nations rise and fall, generations come and go, yet through the ages there has been an advancement of truth, justice, virtue, and liberty. You know, we must remain one nation under God, or as Ronald Reagan said, we will be a nation gone under. America, keep the faith. Don't lose heart. Fight the good fight.